from Las Vegas, the entertainment, music, and sports capital of the world, it's the JJ and Johnny Show.
Somewhat.
Again, we're complimentary.
Close enough. We're wearing red. Hello, everybody. It's the 19th episode. Robbie's here. We have viewers from Switzerland. Thank you for joining us. We're a little late.
Are we? 8
A
minutes.
little late.
A little
Yeah.
late.
A little late.
But that's the beauty of not being on broadcast television. We are not, hemmed in by these rules.
That's right.
You know?
So far, YouTube lets you start whenever you want, unless things change. No, we're a little late because there's a little bit of traffic today. Because
here in beautiful Las Vegas.
We're all getting ready for the Trop to drop tonight.
Wow.
Oh, is that tonight?
John!
Wow. Well, I'm not going. I'll be in bed at 9:30.
It's also the name of the episode today. But,
Yeah.
I
don't look at these things.
I'm glad to remind you. I double checked it 3 times. It's a little confusing because it's 2:30 in the morning. So I'm like, well, is it the 8th or the 9th at 2:30 in the morning?
Yeah, that's always
but it's tonight at 2:30 in the morning.
Tonight at 2:30 a.m. and I'll be.
I'm gonna call you.
You're gonna be awake?
I'm gonna try.
My phone's in the bathroom. You'll never.
I'm gonna try.
You'll never get me. Michelle wanted to go. Murray Sawchuck and Danny are doing which I'm assuming you're going to.
That's where I'm going to be.
And then the Foundation Room offered a special, and that sold out really fast.
Oh, that would be fun.
That sold out really with drinks and food.
That view from the Mandalay. Yeah. So all the major hotels around the Tropicana, folks, are booked out, 100% capacity, raising their rates a couple $100, of course, tonight.
But after this, we're going to IMAX, and IMAX is packing a lot of
convention.
Hotels. Yeah. IMAX, it sounds like, it's the Mexican Independence Day.
It does.
IMAX is the International Meetings and Event Expo. It's the largest in the world. Well, there's a European one and an American one, and this is where all the people who do events, who host, like you and I do, corporate meetings, events, big-scale team-building events. This is where all the people get together and get drunk and network. But there's booths and a lot of dinners, and I had a dinner last night with another big meeting person, and I'm having one tomorrow night with somebody, big national salesperson. It's a great time for people even tangentially connected to the event.
There are
business.
So many people going. I have a friend in the cruise industry. She's going down today. You and I are going to go down.
Yep.
It'll be really interesting. Also in town this week, G2E. The Global Gaming Expo, that has brought about 50,000 people to town.
That's a lot of people.
So anyone in gaming and gambling is happening, and there's a lot going on.
It's a fun show. I've worked that show. Have you worked that show?
I have worked that show.
It's very cool. A lot of cutting-edge technology.
Ding, ding, ding. A lot of new
I'm
slot
sure there'll
machines.
be AI slot machines very soon. That'll be the next thing.
Oh man, they'll be everywhere.
You never know.
So we're gonna make this show short because we have so much going on. It is episode 19, so thanks for joining us. Love to see your comments in the chat. I think it's time for a little Vegas fact or fiction.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I did a little research.
Ooh,
and I was doing numbers of hotels, and I wanted to find out what are the top 25 hotels in the world. Mm-hmm. This is a twofer. Of the top 25 hotels in the world, how many are in Las Vegas?
Of the top 25 hotels in the world.
Right.
Top meaning?
Top like 5-star.
Okay.
All the things that on that list. Yeah, on that list of hotels that make it. The food, the location, the concierge, all the things that they offer. Rated by, I don't know, hotel.
Some important people.
Something. And I had to cross-check it and go through a few things.
I know that there's going to be, they have to spread the wealth a little bit, but there's going to be some Dubai, maybe some Paris, some London, some New York on there.
I was in,
Tokyo.
I was in Bangkok.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was a great show. It was a show for S.C. Johnson, but we stayed at the Peninsula, which that year was voted the #1 hotel in the world.
The Peninsula in Bangkok.
It was.
Was it all that?
Yeah.
It was
they
all
know
that.
who you are when you arrive.
Oh,
They
fancy.
know they have everyone gets a photo
Yes.
of you at the hotel. And so when you walk up to the elevator, it's Mr. DiDomenico and Mr.
wow.
Mr. Scott and Mr. So, it's really, it's a level
Can you imagine?
of hospitality that borders on creepy because they,
Oh my God, it's so funny.
but the food was absolutely incredible and it was on the river and it was just, it's incredible.
Okay, if there's 25 hotels ranked internationally, I'm going to say that we have 2 on the list, optimistically 3, but I'm going to go with 2.
They said it was 5, but I couldn't cross-reference the 5 because I know this town pretty well. You know this town pretty well,
Yep.
and I just couldn't get it. So I'm giving it to you at 3. I'm giving it to you at 3.
Oh, you're going to do your own version
I'm going to
of
do
that
my
one.
own version of it, just logically. Just logically.
Okay,
We don't fact check on this show.
I got
We
one.
don't fact check, as JD Vance said. I didn't know I was going to be fact checked. Yeah. So, yeah. What do you think? Because
I think one of them, you want me to guess which ones?
Yeah. Of course.
One of them's the Win.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was 100%. Yes, that was on there. Especially those beautiful villas in the back. Which
Oh
are
my gosh.
stunning.
I was just in the back because I was at a event. So I was in the event space, you know, those big grand balconies off the event space where you look onto the golf course.
Right.
That's dreamy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's
That's
so
the
pretty.
level of service.
Oh, Cass, you were there with me.
Yes, we were
Sorry,
there together.
I was acting like I was having the experience by myself, and the person who's with me is in the room. You ever do that?
Yes, I've done that with my wife, and she wasn't
Yes.
happy about it.
Yes.
I was with you, idiot.
Yeah. That's right. Was she at the hotel in Bangkok?
No, that was about,
Okay.
at this point, maybe that was 20 years ago.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
It was a different time.
Mark thinks the Four Seasons is one of them.
Oh, Mark, that is a
Mark
great
Yankee,
guess.
is this the Mark Yankee, my friend? My old friend?
Hello, Mark.
Let
Great.
us know, Mark.
Mark, is this you?
Thankfully, it's Mark with a K, because if you were Mark with a C, we'd have to boot you.
Mark, I knew there was a guy
Out of
in
the
Bordentown, New
stream.
Jersey when I lived there. His name was Mark Yankee. Absolutely phenomenal guy in the Air Force. Probably one of the best people you've ever meet. A foodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just a great guy. I wonder
Love
if
it.
that's him.
I'm sure it must be.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Mark, though, with the Four Seasons. Yes, our Four Seasons is delightful, but every Four Seasons around the world is delightful. John's whispering in my ear, it needs a refresh. But, I mean, some Four Seasons has, you know, arguably it's the top hotel chain in the world, maybe?
Oh, my
It's up there.
God. Okay, so Mark is mentioning my brother Steven and my sister-in-law, Shelly. He's down in the...
Look, we have a family reunion
we have a
happening
family
on the
reunion.
YouTube.
So sweet.
This
I want
is
to
brilliant.
just say something about Mark.
Okay.
Mark, I lived in this great historic town called Bordentown, New Jersey. It's where Napoleon sent his Josephine to get her out of Europe. She was hidden there.
He sent her to New Jersey?
Yes. It was a popular
is
place. It was a
effed
popular
up.
place at one time. It's right on the Delaware. This town is on the Delaware River. It's a key place, especially before cars. Anyway, we lived in the same town. I connected with Mark. He was an awesome guy. And what happened one night, I came in from New York City because I used to perform in New York, and we had a little light rail right to Bordentown.
Yeah.
It was like 2 a.m. I called Mark, and I was like, hey, brother, can you come and get me?
At 2 in the morning?
2 a.m. And he's that kind of guy. He came and he got me, and he wasn't one like, oh man, he was one of these guys, I'll be right there. He's a great guy.
Oh, man.
And he's
solid.
Yeah, he's a solid guy. Mark Yankee, everybody. And he connected with my brother who, Mark, that was like totally by accident. I wanted them to connect. They're in the same area. And one night he called me and goes, I met your brother. And like totally randomly.
Yeah.
Because now he's in the Maryland area.
And now they hit it off.
Yeah, and
I
they
love
hit it off. Yeah, he's perfect.
Okay,
Anyway,
so back to our list. So
Yeah, back to the
there's
list.
a list made by some very important people, which we are not going to reference because
Oh.
we can't remember. 25 of the world's top hotels, at least 2 of which are here in Las
Yeah.
Vegas. One is
Yeah.
the Wynn. This is where it gets tricky because I'm going to guess it might be in that very high-end area right in the center of the Strip, even though it's not maybe what I relate to.
It's not New York to
as
New York.
my favorite. I mean, it could be. Oh no, I was thinking like Aria.
Oh yeah. Oh, you
Cosmo.
mean right there in
Yeah.
Crystal? What's it called?
Crystal Shops.
Crystal Shops.
No. Okay, what's the other one?
They said Fountain Blue.
Oh.
I was very surprised, which led me to something.
That's very
Which
optimistic.
led me, and I just did a little further research.
Oh.
That's what you do on the web. You do research. But supposedly, the place to go for celebrities was the Wynn, which was established. I mean, George Clooney would be there and pretty big stars. But supposedly, now it's the Fountain Blue.
I think you might be able to pay to be on that list.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what
right.
the criteria is.
Right.
So this was one of those things I thought interesting.
Here's the thing that's interesting. The Fountain Blue is definitely making a push because, quite frankly, they've had a hard time getting their sea legs under them.
Yes, 100%. They fired 6 or 7 of their executives the first 6
A
months.
little lawsuit with the Wynn across the street. But they have Pitbull coming. They have some really top DJs.
Right. But is
they're
that
trying to get the clubs going.
their crowd?
Right. What is their crowd?
What is their crowd?
Who are you connecting with when you go to Fountain Blue? That's the thing. Four Seasons has its brand. It has its experience.
It's exclusive.
It's older. It's bougie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It reminds me of when I used to do corporate meetings in the LA area and Southern California in like the late 80s, early 90s. It has that. There's a very specific feel. And it definitely has that. And there's beautiful ballrooms. But I think with Fountain Blue, which, by the way, is a beautiful hotel, and the rooms are
Physically beautiful.
physically
Yeah.
beautiful and stunning, and 36 brand new restaurants, which are all very, very good and very expensive. But is Pitbull pulling in that on their
Right.
clientele? That's what I would
Right.
wonder.
Right. That is a great question.
Wondered.
Well, that's the future for sure. That question. So interesting list. Thanks for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. What's your factoid?
Okay, Vegas, fact or fiction? Are you ready? We're preparing to drop the Trop. So first question right off the bat: in what year did the Tropicana open in Las Vegas?
Oh, this actually it's much further back than I thought. I looked this up. Was it 53 or something, or 57, or?
The second one was right. 1957, the Trop opened. So it's 67 years tonight. It opened in April. Yep, it was a big deal. We have a great shot. Cass, can you show the other shot, of the airport?
Yeah.
Or the lack of airport behind it? Look at how barren the land was at that point.
Nothing.
Every time we meet, I meet somebody who was born and raised here, and I see these photos from the early 60s, even through the late 60s and early 70s, like, hey, did your parents buy 1 acre in the middle of nowhere? And they're like, no.
Look at that. Look at the other 3 corners, which are now the New York, the Excalibur, and MGM. I mean, they could not be more built up
And
now.
the road
they're
didn't even go
literally
through. It
sand.
didn't even go through.
Oh my gosh.
It didn't even
So
go through.
crazy.
Oh my gosh, you're
Because
right.
that means there's nothing on the other side at that point.
It's
is
so
incredible.
barren.
Now,
That is
I
something
noticed with this implosion, I've seen videos of the other ones. I always thought, even when I didn't live here, I thought they were so cool to see these buildings come down. But it looks like this implosion, they have taken like the walls are out, the front is out. Like there's nothing.
It looks like a
It looks like a
skeleton.
bunch of popsicle sticks.
And now they're just going to implode the skeleton.
And it looks like there's curtains on the lower level. It looked like it's more of a production now. They're kind of a show, And I think those curtains trap the dirt. You know how the dirt goes up in a massive plume? I think those curtains are to, reduce that.
So this leads me to our next question. So the cost of the implosion of the Tropicana is around $1.2 million, and that does include dust control, apparently, is a big portion of it. What was the original cost to build the Tropicana back in 1957?
1957. And what we saw was the full scale.
Right. It was actually the most expensive property on the Strip at that time.
If I said 25 million, would I be above or below?
You're above.
Significantly.
Well, not bad. Can I give it to you? Because
Yeah.
you're 15 million.
Okay, that was my original guess. I should have went with that.
Oh, really? Are you
Well,
serious?
yeah, but you know, it's,
job.
here's the thing about when you're building here at that time. Like, a lot of those supplies weren't here. Like, everything had to be brought in from California. And a lot of the workers had to be brought in, and they had to be put up. And there's a lot of additional expenses.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
You know.
It was a big deal. Also, it was a pretty tumultuous time in Vegas history. There was about 5 new hotels right around that time, right in that little span of years. And 3 of them, I think, closed right away. So it wasn't the easiest time to build something and have it succeed, but the Trop was a success. Okay, third and final question, Vegas fact or fiction. You ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Folies Bergère was the longest running show.
Right.
That played at the Tropicana.
And that came directly over from Paris, right? Was that like a real iteration of the show?
That's my understanding too.
Okay. That's what I had heard. It was like a real iteration of the show.
Yeah.
And then over time, a lot of the Parisian performers kind of just ended up going back.
So the Folies Bergère, known for employing beautiful showgirls, what was the average height of a showgirl in Folies Bergère?
Can I add something that I learned? Has nothing to do with this show. Has something to do with the Rockettes. So I lived in New York for a decent amount of time, and I did meet some Rockettes, and you know they're all beautiful. And,
I love Rockettes.
They have they're trained a very specific way, wholesome, beautiful, and I won't mention her name, but I was friends with one of them, and she I said, I didn't know. I was like, I was trying to be tactful, but I was like, you're not really tall. And she said, oh no, we're all the same height. We're the exact same height. I was like, oh,
Yes.
That's why on stage. She goes,
Yes.
exactly.
So I think they can manipulate height of a showgirl slightly with heel height.
Right.
So in Folies Bergère, there was a range. The range was between 5'10" and 6'2" tall, making the average Follies showgirl 6 feet tall.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
With an
Look at those
average.
yams. Holy moly.
Woo!
Va 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 voom.
So just a little bit of Tropicana history there.
That's
tonight.
awesome. That probably employed a lot of people. And I know
Right?
that, yeah, and I've met some older showgirls here, and you know they go into open dance studios and this thing and that thing, but you know them immediately. A, by the height and their incredible posture. And they'll be late 60s, early 70s, and they just look, you know, like pageant contestants.
Still standing up straight. Fabulous. Should we get on over we have so many things to do today. We're going over to this convention at Mandalay.
Yeah, and the reason we're doing that is so many big shows are here, and we talk about them. Next week, we're going to have some photos and some video to give you an idea. If you've never been to one of these big expos, like an international expo, we just want to share that with you. And because we can, that's why we want to do it.
Not only that, but next week we are going to have one of the most renowned, notable psychics in Las Vegas, Mystic Mona, on the show.
Yep.
Johnny, you made that happen. Thank you so much. She's going to come.
You're welcome. I was going to say thank me. Yes. And I have a connection to Mystic Mona that goes all the way back to
New Jersey, to Napoleon.
Philadelphia, and Napoleon, and the Punic Wars. When early on, I got hired. This is in the 90s. I got hired by an ad agency in the Philadelphia area, in Plymouth Meeting, and I did some characters for an event. They ended up getting me on some really big national sales meetings.
Nice.
That woman was Lori Van Meter, who I had a great relationship with. And then years later, when I moved out here, she said, when you go out there, I have a cousin who lives there. And I said, oh, great. She said she's a psychic. Her name is Mystic Mona.
No way.
So I knew about Mystic Mona years even before I moved here. One thing I do want to mention, you and I went to Bagel Mania in January.
Yes.
For the
Bagel eating contest.
The bagel eating contest.
Are there more bagels?
There's more bagels because I'm going to be doing stand-up at Bagel Mania, 8 o'clock on October 24th. I'm coming out of retirement.
That's my birthday.
Ah,
what? Oh my God, I'm freaking out. No, you're doing stand-up at Bagel Mania in Las.
They're paying me in bagels, so I thought it was a good deal. Full dozen.
Do you know what? I host an event that day, but I think it's over by 8 p.m.
Really? Oh,
And
you'll
if
be
it
there on
is,
your birthday? I would love
I'm going to Bagel Mania.
I would love to celebrate you on
Yay.
your birthday.
Wow.
Fun.
Cass, do you have
First
anything
time-
to say about the dropping?
You know what?
Dropping the Trop.
I'm young. I didn't get to experience the Trop. I think I've walked through the Trop, but I never, I never stayed there or anything. But
It's a legendary hotel for so many reasons. One of the oldest, mentioned in so many movies. Recently, our friend Murray was there for a long time at the Laugh Factory. A lot of comedians have come through. Before they announced the close of the Trop, you couldn't drive through Las Vegas without
Can we
seeing
just take a
so-and-so at the Laugh Factory.
This is what we don't do in Las Vegas, and everyone knows it. We just love to blow shit up. So we're going to take a moment. Let's just all three take a moment to say goodbye to the Trop. Just think about the Trop.
We have some music for this. What's that Boyz II Men?
Boys, ABC, BBD. That one?
The one with the crying, The Long Road or whatever.
And so we go at the end of the road. So I can let it go.
A lot of good memories for a lot of people who've come to Los Angeles.
I love you, Trop. Thank you for the memories.
Drop. I'm sorry I won't be there to see you drop. I'll be deep fast asleep.
I'll be there if I can stay awake. All right, guys. See you next week. It'll be episode 20 of the JJ
I
and
only
Johnny
know
Show.
about Ricky Ricardo at the Tropicana in New York. Yes.
If you're gonna bring up Ricky Ricardo, we're gonna have to
Ricky Ricardo.
keep recording because.
Cuban Pete.
all right, y'all have a great week.
When Josephine landed in New Jersey, was she like, "Oh shit"?
By ship. Yeah. And
Why
Thomas,
did he send her?
she had to get her out of Europe.
That's probably a good idea.
And the reason, here's why Bordentown was important. If you're looking at a map, here's Philadelphia, here's New York City. You could sail up to a certain point, then the rock formation stopped it. And it was also very deep right outside of Bordentown. 22 ships were sank there during the Revolutionary War. So what you would do is you'd get here, you'd stay overnight, there were restaurants, there was a theater, a live theater.
Yep.
And I mean,
It's kind of like, where my brother lives
and you'd
in
refresh,
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yes, you'd get all refreshed,
Yeah.
and the next morning
You'd wash your hair because he hadn't washed it in like 6 weeks.
and you would carriage from there to New York.
To New York?
Yeah, you would
Take it
carriage.
a carriage.
Yeah, and that was the only way at that time before
God.
trains and everything else. So so then trains came along and then cars. And then Bordentown is this weird little historic town in the sense that it's on the river, but it's off the main highway. So it was really, really bad in the late 60s and 70s. And then somewhere in the late 80s, some people came in and were like, this is a beautiful little town. So they started buying the houses, renovating them, stores moved in, and it became gentrified, but in a good way. Not like people going into Harlem and pushing everybody out. The town revived. And then some restaurants opened, and that's where I was with my evil one, the second one who bankrupted me.
The second wife?
The second wife.
Damn her.
Damn.
All right.
Damn. But the cool thing was, when they put in the light rail, I could literally walk 4 blocks to the light rail, take it to Trenton, go right to New York. I never had to get into a car.
How long to New York? The light rail.
With the light rail, it was like 10 minutes. And then once I was on the train, it took about an hour 10.
Oh, okay. Hour 10. by
And that was
train.
nothing, really. I mean, you're sitting, reading, writing. But man, if you miss that last train.
Like, we're going to miss the convention today. So we got to go. Bye,
Okay.
guys. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
I thought we were off the air.